Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In Python, a for loop is used to iterate over a sequence like list, tuple, string or a range and execute a block of code multiple times. It's particularly useful for performing repetitive tasks efficiently. It's a fundamental tool for programming. I am going to use Jupyter Notebook in this lecture, but this code should run in any IDE. If you do not have Python set up in your system, then you can refer my other videos. I will provide link to the description box. You can use free online Jupyter Lab also for practice. As usual, I am going to share this code with you end of this lecture. I will provide the code link in comment section. Having said that, let's jump into the another exciting session in this Python series. If you are new in this channel and not subscribed yet, then please hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel as I upload new video and content every week and you will get the notification. Now let's define a list, say animals. So in this list we have 6 animals items in the list. Now you want to do something with this list, like you want to iterate each of the items and then you want to print each animals separately. We know from list that how you can access the list. You can access the list with the index number. So let's say you start printing things. Let's run it. It will work, but you now realize that something is wrong. You are repeating the same code multiple times. This is not good, right? From the dry principle, we know do not repeat yourself in the software program. You should not write the same code multiple times. What to do? Here for loops come for us rescue. So you can write the same thing like this in the for loop. For animal in animals colon 4 spaces here and then you print the animal. Run it, same result. It's work fine, because if you print these items separately, if you have say the 100 items in the list, it was not feasible. But with this for loop you can easily print this, repeat the same print statement multiple times. So if how you read it, like you will read it like for each animal in animals list print each animal. Now here, as soon as you write for, that time the Python interpreter knows that you are going to write a for loop. This is a keyword in Python. Next, you are writing animal. Animal is nothing but a variable. You can give any name here. It can be animal, it can be x, y, z, anything. It doesn't matter. It calls the iterator variable. What it does is it takes each of the item from the list for each iteration. Then you are saying that in animals is the your list you already have. You are mentioning that list. It called iterable. You are getting each item from this list and then you are printing it. By the way, here you see after colon you have a 4 spaces. So after this you can write anything, any code here, and it will be the part of your for loop. Say if I say hi and say am say hi to the each animal. If you run it, see it's repeating. So basically what I am saying is that after colon, whatever the line you write here, it will be repeated. It will be the part of the for loop. End of the for loop, you can get out of the loop and print it. Let's say end of for loop and run it. This code repeated for each iteration and then it printed end of the for loop once you get out of the loop. Let's see another example. Let's have a list called numbers and you have numbers like 10, 20, 30 and 40. Now you want to print this number. We know how to print it, right? So we will write a for loop for num. Num is nothing but our iterative variable. You can give anything. It can be x, y, z, anything, it will work. So let me start with num in numbers. See, it printed. And now what about if you want to get the sum of this number? 40 plus 30, 70, 70 plus 20 and then 10, 100. So how you can write in the for loop? let's say you define a new variable total and initialize it to 0. You can write like this and then print the. Let's see what we are doing here. So we have a list here 10, 20, 30, 40, and we initialize a variable called total and initialize to it 0, and then we writing the for loop for number, that is for each number in this numbers list. In the total variable you are storing, what we are storing is total. Total is 0 now, so it will take the first number. 0 plus number is 10. The next iteration what we will do, we have a total 10, so it will take the second number and plus it, it will total will become 30. In the third iteration what we will do, we have a total 30, it will take the again the number 30, it will sum it, it will be 60, total will be now 60. The last iteration total is 60 and it will take the last number 40 and it will give you the total number at end of the loop. You print it. Now let's say you want to create a list of uh, range of numbers, okay, say 1 to 10, and you want to have us get a sum of this number 1 to 10. So how you can do it? You can create a list of those numbers and then you can, on that list of numbers, you can get the sum, what we already seen in the previous example. But now here you are doing for the 10 numbers. Now just imagine that you want to do this for 100 numbers. Then for that you need to, type numbers 1 to 100. This is not efficient and not feasible also. I mean, lot of typing, right? So Python comes here for our rescue. So Python give us a function called range, and here you will write something like this. For 1 to 10 number, you will say range start with 1 comma through 11 but not including the 11. So it will create a range of numbers 1 to 10. Now if you want to see that what is in this number in range, you can convert it to a list. How will convert it? Let's give a name of a variable lst num, and then you convert this range to a list and so store it to this variable. So you can do it with a list function like this. Now if you print it, see how it looks like. So it's a range of your number, right? 1 to 10. What we did here is we first create a range of the number with the range function, the range 1 to 10 numbers, and then we are converting to a list. So we are putting this range function into the list function, and it is actually converting to a list, showing to us. Now what if you want to get a sum of this? That you can do it like for num is your any variable, you can give any name here, it's up to you. And then we have this list, then we have a total, initial is the total to 0, where we'll store the sum of the number, and then we can write like this, total equal to, we already did this, total plus num. This is one way to do that. It is working. Now instead of putting into the list, you can directly here in the list num you can mention the range here. Okay? That will also work. You don't need, maybe you do not need to put in the list at all. So you can directly have the range here and run it. Same result. One thing you can do, you can, instead of writing this total plus num, you can use the shorthand operator. If you remember this, we learned this in the operators video. So what you can do is you have an assignment operator, like same statement, it will give the same result. It's nothing but the shorthand assignment operator. It's a same statement. Okay, let's say you have this range of number 1 to 10, and you want to see that which are the even number in 1 to 10. So from here we can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, which are even number. Whichever basically you can divide with 2 and you will have no remainder. Remainder is 0. So those are even numbers. And you can, but if you are, say you have 100 like this, and from that 100 numbers you want to find the even numbers, it's difficult to do like this. So here also you can use for loop like this. Let's try to do this. Like, yeah. So for num in range, start with 1 to 11. If num, this is the modulo operator, 2 equal to 0, then print num. Now, let's print it. See, it printed the all the even numbers. What it is doing, let's try to understand. So this part you understand, right? For num in range, basically it's say what you are doing is for each number in this range 1 to 10, it's taking one by one, and then it's checking in the if block that if you divide this number with 2, then remainder is 0. So this modulo operator gives the remainder, okay, after division. When the remainder is 0, that means the even number, and then you are printing the number. Otherwise you are not printing. So that's why here it's printing the even number. Now here what I'm showing here in the for loop, you can use the if block of code or any kind of code where you want to define your business logic or the programming logic. Now we have seen that how to print even number with for loop. Now let's say if you want to print the odd numbers, how you can do it? There are two ways you can do it, right? What we have seen that if when the for each number 1 to 11 in this range of number, when you are dividing the number with 2 and not getting any remainder 0, you are getting the even number. But what else if we get a reminder? So that means we will say it's not equal to 0, right? So reminder will be not equal to 0. That means you will have some reminder in this case. Then also you will get an odd number. But without changing this also, with this operator equal to operator in the if block, this without changing the if statement, we can also get the odd number from here. Let's see how to do that. So what you can do is, in this if block, you will write continue. I will tell you how the continue work. Okay, but let's run this one. See, here you get the odd number. Now let me try to explain this continue statement to you. The continue statement we use in the for loop. What it does is, in Python, say when you are running this for loop and you iterating each of number in this range 1 to 10, and in any of the number, any situation you have that where you don't want to print or you don't want to execute anything, instead of that you want to skip that particular iteration and go to the next iteration, that time we use the continue. So what we are doing here, say for each number in this range we are getting the number, dividing with 2 and checking with the modulo operator that if there is any reminder is there or not. If the reminder is not there, if reminder is 0, if there is no reminder present, that means it's an even number. In that case, we are telling the for loop, say don't print that particular number which is even. Instead of that, skip this iteration and go to the next iteration. So what will happen is, as soon as it get a even number like 2 or 4 or 8, it will skip the iteration, total loop. It will skip this statement. It is basically skip this iteration of the for loop. It will go to the next number. So let's say for the 2, when it will be 2, it will skip the iteration. It will go to 3. When 3 will come, it will not get into this if statement, because this statement will not pass through. So it will print the number. So it will print the 3. Again it will 4. Then 4 again it will get into this if block and it will get the continue statement here. So it will skip the whole iteration. It will go to the 5. In 5 again it will not able to get into the if statement. So it will print the 5. Like that it goes on, and we will get the odd number. So we have seen the continue statement. There is another very useful statement in for loop that is called break. So let me try to explain how you can use that. Say you have a list called fruits, where you have all the different fruits listed like apple, banana, cherry, orange and pineapple. Now you want to write a program so that you want to print each of the fruit name, but As soon as you encounter in a loop, when you iterate over this list, when you encounter the orange, that time you want to end the loop. You don't want to print anything after that. So basically, when it will iterate through this loop, it will go first to apple, then banana, then cherry. But as soon as it go to orange, it will break the loop. It will not go anymore. It will exit the loop. So that's where you can use the break statement in these cases. So let's try to write this one. For fruit, in fruits, fruit is our, again, the iterator variable. Fruits is our iterable. Now I'm writing if fruit equal to orange, then this is the statement I'm talking about, break. And otherwise you print the fruit. So as soon as it will get the orange, it will get into the if block of code and it will break it. And as soon as it encounters this break statement, it will end the loop there only. Okay, let's run this. See, we're able to print apple, banana, and cherry. As soon as it get orange, it end the loop from there. It didn't print the orange and pineapple. This is how the break statement used in for loop. By the way, in Python, you can use the nested for loops also. That means loops under another loop. So let's try to see with the example. Let's say you want to create a tables 1 to 10. Okay, let's try to write that. So it's a nested loop. Yeah, let me run it and I can explain it to you after this. Okay, see, we created the table for 1 to 10, right? What is happening? Let's see. This is, you can see there are two loops. So I wrote here. The first is that this is the outer loop where my x is the iterable variable for the outer loop and y is the iterable variable for the inner loop. How it works is start with the outer loop. So it has a range 1 to 11, that means 1 to 10. So it will, first iteration, it will take the 1 assigned to this iterable variable x, and then when it will get into the inner loop, it will execute all 1 to 10, and it will execute like y will first get 1, then 2, like that. And it is, we are printing, what we are printing of the f string, we are printing x, that is 1 in the first iteration, then we are printing y, that is 1 again, and then x into y. Okay, in the second iteration, in the inner loop, we have the x1 only from the outer loop. Now y is now 2 and then 1 into 2, like that. It's continue again. After it complete the full iteration of the inner loop, again it will go to the outer loop and start the second iteration, like 2 here. So now x is 2 now, then again it will come into the inner loop, again it will iterate full 1 to 10 for the inner loop, like 2 into 1, 2 into 2, like that. And then it will complete, after again it will go to the outer loop and now x is 3, and again it will continue, repeat the inner loop again, like that. It goes on and it completed. Once the outer loop is done, then it will exit the loop. So like this way you can use nested loops in your programming. Okay, till now we have seen that we iterate over with for loop over list and range function, but it's not only list. You can iterate any iterable object in Python with for loop, like any sequence, like tuple, list of tuples. Dictionary is not sequence, but you can also it has a iterable method. So you can iterate over dictionary, you can iterate over string also. And let's see with an example with a list of tuples where you can iterate through for loop. Let's say I have an example. Let's say you have a list of students, and it is a name of, this is a list of student with list of tuples, basically. That this Prosenjit is the name of the student and has a score 90. Shushmi is another student, score 85. These are the different tuples. Okay, each of the student and their score is tuple, and we have the list of tuples here. Okay. Now we want to write a program like that will iterate over this list of tuples, and we print like Prosenjit scores 90, Shushmi scores 85, Jia scores 92, Sarah scores 80, something like that. How to do that? Let's try. So here what I'm writing is for name grades in students, name and grades. These are two variables I am using here. Now you may ask, here we have seen till now that when you are iterating through a list, we are using only one iterator variable. Why you are using two? Okay, let me complete this program first. Yeah. So how it's working? Let me try to explain it to you. So students is our list, and our list basically have different tuples there. So when I am iterating over this list, so first I am getting the first tuple. And when I'm getting the first tuple, I am unpacking this tuple in the two variables. This is called the tuple unpacking. When we'll study tuple in details, we'll discuss this in more details, this unpacking of tuples. But here how it works like it. Once it gets the tuple, so it will assign, Prosenjit will be assigned to the name and 90 will be assigned to the grades. Again in the next iteration, I will print it. Okay. In the next iteration, it will get Shushmi and 85, this tuple. The Shushmi will be assigned to the name and 85 will be assigned to the grades, and it will print it. Then it will Jia and Sarah. Something, it will work like this. So this is a way you can basically iterate through a list of tuples with for loop. You can iterate multiple lists together in a one for loop. That also possible. So let's see an example. Say I have a list of names like Prosenjit, Jia, and Sarah, and I have another list which says the ages of this person, like Prosenjit 40, 15, and 10. It's a different list we have. Now we want to print it like this in a for loop, that Prosenjit is 40 years old, Jia is 15 years old, and Sarah is 10 years old. So to do that, you need to iterate to this list together. You cannot have two different for loop and print it like that. You need to iterate through together this list. So you can do that. Let's see how. So you'll write, I'm writing for name and age. These two are my two different iterator variable in zip. Zip is a function where you can pass two multiple list here and it will zip together. So what will happen, how it works it is, so and then I'm printing the name and age. So what will happen is it will iterate to each of the two of the lists together. From the names list, it will get the first Prosenjit and it will assign to the name iterator variable. From ages list, it will get the 40 from here assigned to the age variable, and with the aim string I am printing name is this year, age years old. Then it will in the next iteration it will get Jia from this names list and it will assign to the name iterator variable, and it will get 15 from the ages list and it will assign to the age iterator variable and print it. And the last one for the Sarah, it will get the Sarah from this names list and assigned to the name iterator variable, and 10 will be assigned to the age iterator variable and print it. Hope it clears to you. Let's run it. See, Prosenjit is 40 years old, Jia is 15 years old, and Sarah is 10 years old. So like this way, you can iterate over multiple lists together in a one for loop. And we have seen that when we loop over a list, we have each element, we iterate through each of the element and do something with this element, like print something or add some numbers and all. But we never, till now, we didn't see that what are the indexes of this list. We didn't access those yet. In your programming world, any point of time you have a requirement like you want to access the element of the list as well as the index of that also. And we know the index start with 0 for list or any sequence in that matter. Like Python is 0, Java is 1, Go is 2, and Rust is 3. So these are the index of this particular list. Now if you want to access those, print those index as well as the element, there is a method called Enumerate. So we are trying to access in the index and items both in the list. So we write like for I is our iterator variable again. In enumerate, data enumerate is a function where we are passing the list on this enumerate function and then print the I. Now if you run this, see, it print the index, the first index 0 and its value Python, then second index 1 is value Java, like that, so on. Now, like list, range function, we have seen tuple also, where you can use for loop for the, wherever the sequences and iterator method is there, any iterable basically, you can use the for loop. We have seen that. Now you can also use the for loop to iterate over a string too. Let's see with an example. Let's say we have a string called str is a string variable. We have hello world. I want to iterate over this hello world and print the each of the letters. Okay, let's try to do that. So for s is my iterator variable. In str, this is a string. I am printing s, is each of the letter. So let's run it. See, hello world printed like this. Now what about if you want to write this string in the reversed order? You can do that with the for loop. Let's try to do that. So to do that, what I am going to do is I am going to take a variable called reversed, and I will not assign anything. And then what I will do is I will reverse this in this variable. I will write like this. Okay, did it work? No, right? It's printing hello world also only still. But there, if you can make a small change here, it will work. Let me show you. You write the s plus, then reverse. I will explain why I'm doing this. Okay, but let's run it first. Yeah, it works. See, it written the hello world in the reversed order that we wanted, right? Now let's see. Let's try to understand what it is doing. So we have the hello world string here. Okay, where we are iterating through. We have one string, empty string. We initiated empty string. Okay, we initialize this empty string. Reversed. Now what we are doing is, for the first iteration, we are getting h from here and we putting the h here, okay, in the reverse. So currently reversed is h. Then I am getting the e here. So I am, then what I am doing is I have the h there with me. Now I am adding e in front of that. That is whatever I am getting from this iterator variable currently has e. So I am adding e in front of the h. Now I have the reversed word, what I have eh, right? Next one I am getting l, and then I am adding l in front of that. Like that way it's writing h e l something. You got it, right? How it's working? So like this way, this is cool, na? So this is like this way you can iterate over string also with for loop, and this is very powerful in your programming. You will use this thing a lot, this for loop. Okay? We'll end this today's lecture with last one, where we are going to show you the how you can iterate with for loop on dictionary. So you can iterate, you can use for loop to iterate over dictionary also. Let's see how. Let's see with an example. As we have a dictionary called stu underscore grades, where we have the keys of the student names and the grade as their value. Like Prosenjit have value 90, Jia has grade 95, and Sarah is 94. We want to print like this, that Prosenjit got 90, Jia got 95, and Sarah got 90. So how to do that? Let's write it. For student grade in this dictionary, and then if you see, I am using a function called items, and I will explain what it does. Let's print it first. Yeah, it printed like Prosenjit got 90, Jia got 95, Sarah got 90. Now let's see how it works. So for each student and grade in this dictionary, when you using the items, what it is does is it's actually dividing this each pair, key and value pair, into value, and it assigning them to the iterator variable you took. So first one, it will assign the key, that is student here, and second one, iterator variable, it assign the value of that iteration. So 90 here. So in the first iteration, with the when you use the items function here, it will get the first key and assign to the student, and the value assigned to the grade, and it will print it. In the second iteration, it will take this item Gia and 95 key Gia, it will assign the Gia into this student and 95 in the grade. Third iteration, it will assign the third key to the student and value to the grade, and it print it. Hope you enjoyed this session. But any point, anywhere you have any question, any doubt you have, please put in the comment section and I will try my best to help you. Thank you. If you like this video, please hit the like button and share it with others. If you are new to this channel and not subscribed yet, then please hit the subscribe button so that you will get notified when I upload new content. See you in the next video. Till then, keep learning and happy coding.